Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a mini makeup tutorial, and all that means is I'm going to skip a few of the steps like foundation, brows, mascara, but focus in on the most important parts so you can recreate this look. This is the makeup I was wearing in my recent top 10 bottom 5 darlings and duds video. When I do those videos, I always like to put on my face those featured products, or as many as I can. And I thought while I was doing it, why not film a tutorial for you all? And along the way, I decided to do something a little extra crazy. I did a double winged liner. I have had some of you ask me how I've done that in the past. And so I thought, let's just incorporate that into this video. So we're just gonna be having some fun playing with some of my recent new favorites. If you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button, and now let's get started. All right, just to catch you up real quick of what I already have on my face. I did apply my Bare Pro liquid foundation, and I mixed two shades, Sandstone 16 and Toffee 19. And then I did go ahead and do my brows. I just used my usual duo. This is the NYX Precision Brow Definer in Taupe and the Merit Brow Gel in Blonde. So that's what I've got done so far. And then I did add the NARS tinted eyeshadow base in Light, because for this look, I really wanted a little extra brightness and coverage on the lids. So now we can get started, and we are going to start first with a little bit of, I'm gonna use washi tape. If you have Scotch tape, you can use that. I'm just kind of working on a theory that sometimes Scotch tape is a little hard to see where you're putting it because it's clear. So we're gonna see if washi tape's easier. All right, for the look today, I'm gonna do something a little different. So I'm gonna place this washi tape not exactly where I would normally. Normally, if I were doing kind of a winged eyeliner, just typical, I would do it kind of pretty low. But I'm gonna go in like a little bit in, so a little bit further this direction than I would typically. And if you have hooded eyes, you know you want to try and avoid your fold there. So I probably got a little longer piece of tape than I needed, but that's all right. And you probably are going to have to touch up your foundation and definitely concealer if you're using tape. So that's why I don't use concealer before doing my eyes. All right, let's use a little shorter piece here. And I am taking off a little bit of the tackiness on the back of my hand. This doesn't feel as sticky as Scotch tape. So, all right, and again, you can see this eye is a little less hooded than this one, but I need a little more lift. All right, I'm gonna go up kind of from the corner. And now this is the trick, is we wanna get our angles kind of even. And if you have uneven eyes like I do, that is a little extra challenging. Okay, let's see. I think we're good. Okay. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna look really good until we take this tape off. All right, the two palettes I picked to use today are these two from Sigma. So this is the Ambiance 7-pan palette and the Enchanted palette. Both of these were brand new to me. I don't own the full-size versions of these, but I'm gonna start off with the Ambiance palette and this cream shade, which is Days. So if you have these full-size palettes, you'll be able to follow along with this as well. So I have a lot of Sunless Tanner on, so this is kind of the perfect brow bone shade for me. It's not too bright. If you are lighter or more fair, you might need a lighter color along the brow, but this is actually perfect. All right, and then we're gonna go back to the Enchanted palette. We're gonna use this for most of our look today. I'm gonna start in the crease with the shade, which is called Innocent, and I'm using a Morphe M504. And when you do tape like this, you wanna make sure you bring your brush over the edge of that tape, because that's gonna help make sure we get a nice clean line. We gotta get that eyeshadow all the way out there to that corner. So I'm just running this all the way through the crease. You can see, even though that looks like it's gonna be a real super cool pink and not show up at all, I think this is just a really nice neutral color, and I think it packs more pigment than you think it's going to. Next, I'm going to take a Morphe M433 and we're going to go in with this shade right here, which is called Terra. This is such a pretty, warm, super warm brown. It's a little bit of terracotta tones almost to it. And again, going over that tape, but I'm going to keep this shade, I think, just kind of here in the outer corner. And then I'm making sure to blend up, and I'm kind of changing the angle of my brush here and just really lightly feathering that up so we get a nice gradation there, a nice fade of color. All right, and then I'm going to kind of, with what's left on the brush, just bring that real lightly kind of to about halfway across in the crease. Next, taking the BK Beauty 204 brush. This is just a very small kind of smudger brush. I'm going to go in with the deepest shade in the palette, which is Claystone. And I'm going to just kind of work this right at the roots of the lashes and up a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of just gently fade this up, following that tape line. And what this is going to do, it's going to help our liner when we add it not look quite so harsh, because I do feel like I might use a dark brown, but still, liquid liner can look a little harsh sometimes if the rest of the eye is real soft. All right, now let's have a little bit of fun. All right, I'm gonna start off with this shade, which is so beautiful on its own. It's Budding. And you know, typically this would be the only shade I would do on my lid, but don't fear. I'm going to make this a little more fun today. So I know some of you are wanting a little bit of some color or just something different. So I'm just placing that on my lid. You can see it has a really pretty kind of a rose, there's a peachy rosiness to it. It does have sparkle in it, but not huge chunks of glitter. And it's not a super metallic shadow either. So I feel like it's pretty forgiving if you have texture on the lid. All right, now I've been experimenting with this on my hand. Let's see if it works on the eye. All right, I'm gonna go in with this really fun shade, which is called Metamorphosis. All right, it's already a duochrome itself, but by adding it over this other eyeshadow, we're gonna like make it like a trio chrome, right? Okay, so I'm going to just tap this here over that other shadow. And now as the light catches, you get that little hint of some of those blue tones. Oh, that is fun. Okay, but see, it's not too crazy, you know? Sometimes these shadows really make you feel like you're just going to the circus, but I'm not going to the circus today, so I thought I would do something a little more wearable, but still fun. Oh yeah, that's so cool. I love it. All right, I'm gonna wait to do the inner corner until I do highlighters. So now it's time to add a little liner. And I was going back and forth on black or brown liquid liner. I think I'm gonna do dark brown. So this is the KVD Tattoo Liquid Liner in Mad Max Brown. Sorry, I just realized my fan was still on. I talk about this often. This is what I will do if I can't decide between black and brown, because it's close to black, but not quite as dramatic. Okay. We're gonna attempt something fun today. So I'm first gonna start off just kind of with a regular liner technique. I am going to go super thin on the inner corner. And then when I get halfway out, about halfway across, I should say, I'm going to just almost go a little more straight. So rather than following my lash line all the way down, going to go a little straighter. And then you see I'm going over that tape and then dragging the liner across. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now we're going to pull off our tape gently. All right, now don't fear if you've got just kind of a little, you're looking at your wings going, wait, what's going on? All right, we're gonna go to step number 2, and that is we are going to line the lower lash line, but I'm gonna do it in a little different way. Okay, starting out first with Urban Decay Mildew. I think this color is still available. If not, I'll link one that's close to it, but it's basically kind of a shimmery green. It's a little more neutral leaning. It's not quite bright green, but what I'm gonna do is put this along the lower lashes about halfway. And then as I go here, I'm going to pull this up, but I'm not going to connect it to that upper line. You see I'm leaving a little bit of space there. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll clean it up in a moment. Okay, so I know that looks a little strange. We're gonna bring it together. All right, so I am now going to make sure I kind of fill in that gap. Because I have hooded eyes, I need to kind of come a little bit lower in that outer corner before I lift up. And then on top of this, I'm going to add just a touch of this NYX Epic Wear Liner. These are really fantastic. And this particular shade is Turquoise Shock. So this was just a little too shockingly turquoise for me today, but I love how it looks over that green shade. So you could certainly just use the turquoise if you wanted to, but I kind of was going off of, you know, the color of my shirt as inspiration. And I'm going to take this fine liner brush. This is from Sigma. BK Beauty also has one. This is the E06, I believe. And I'm just going to kind of further sharpen and draw out that line. Okay, so we have parallel lines. Okay, now I had to do a little experimenting off camera and I've changed my mind what I was gonna do. I was going to use the Stila liquid liner in Snow between those, but because I am so tan right now, the white just looked a little too harsh. So I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal Infallible, oh, I can't even read the color. It's this kind of cream color, and this is going to, depending on how dark your skin is, it will show up lighter or slightly darker, but I'm going to use this between those two lines, the dark and our colorful liner. And then I'll go back to this shade from the Ambiance palette and we'll just kind of go right over the top of that with this kind of angled flat brush. This is the Morphe M165. All right. And now we have our dual liner there. And then if you want to, once you see kind of how it's going, then you can go back and touch up. I'm going to touch up this corner just slightly because I don't want that white line to kind of be the thickest part. I kind of want it to look like it goes to a point and then goes out wider. So I'm just bringing the color kind of a little more into the corner there. And then I'm going to just add a little more to this wing here with the dark brown liner. There we go. All right, now it's time to clean up with some almond oil. And this is where the craziness, where we kind of tone down a little bit of the craziness. So this is kind of where I will sometimes shorten the length of my wing if I want to. So let's just kind of see what we do here. And then keep in mind, you gotta hang with these crazy looks until you get your mascara on. Okay, I'm just going to breeze right through my concealer application so we can get to the rest of the face. So I'm just using my normal NARS color corrector and I'm using the Clinique Even Better concealer. All right, the next product I want to share with you is this Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and I have the shade medium. And I was a little perplexed of how I was supposed to use this, and the way that I personally love to use it is on top of my foundation as kind of a soft sculpting and blurring product. So I'm going to use the BK Beauty 107, and I use this about kind of in the hollows of the cheeks and then go up, because I feel like this color works kind of as a contour as well as a bronzer shade, at least for me, this particular one. But it is such an interesting formulation. It says it's supposed to have skin blurring characteristics, and I do feel like that is true. I feel like it does kind of blur out and perfect the areas where you put it on. So I've just really been enjoying this. It's kind of a dual purpose product for me. I feel like I can get away with just this and no extra contour if I so choose, if I'm in a hurry. And I also feel like it does provide a good amount of kind of bronzing as well if I want to kind of bronze up the face. So I don't know, I'm a big fan. Now that the last cream product has been applied, I'm going to go ahead and powder, and I am using a new favorite. This is the Beauty Counter Mattifying Translucent Powder, and I have loved this because it is a powder that I feel like works really well under the eyes as well as on the rest of the face. It is very blurring, but I don't feel like it makes your skin look dry, and it is a very good clean formulation as well. All right, I'm going to start under the eyes with a little bit of powder here. See how nice that looks? And then I'm going to go in with my powder puff. This is just the one from Laura Mercier, and I'm going to apply it to the rest of the face. Now I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of powder bronzer just because I want to share with you another of my favorites, and this is the Sigma Matte Bronzer in Dark. I'm going to use the BK Beauty 103 brush, and all you need to do is just literally lay the brush in the product and then tap off. These are pigmented. They're not powdery, but they are very pigmented, so you don't have to like really go to town swirling your brush, but it's not kicking up a bunch of dust in the pan. You know how I hate that. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of this. I just find this formula is very easy to blend in. I love the finished look, and this does remind me a little bit of the Gucci bronzer in the tone. This particular shade matches or is very close to the Gucci one. But yeah, I mean, really nice and soft. And again, it's matte, so it's not going to highlight texture or anything like that. So another great reason to love this. All right, for blush, I'm kind of torn between two, so I might show you both. We're going to start off with the Sigma blush in Sunset Kiss. This is such a pretty shade. This is a matte one, and I'm going to use the new blush brush from Sigma. This is the F10. I showed this in a previous video recently. I just really think this is a really nice brush. Allows you to kind of place it, and then you can also swirl it because it's slightly fluffy. So isn't that pretty? These blushes do blend so easily. And again, they are pigmented, but not overly so. Like, you really don't have to be too afraid. I feel like they are very buildable, but because they are buildable, they will work on basically all skin tones. You don't have to worry about them looking too patchy or chalky as your skin tone gets deeper. So isn't that pretty? All right, now just for fun, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit. we're gonna tie in a little bit of shine from our eyes. And I'm gonna use this one, which is Tiger Lily. You can see I had an unfortunate accident when Sigma sent these to me. Several of the blushes and bronzers were loose in the box and they broke. So I had to do a little repair job. See that nice little bit of glow? This almost has the same base color as the previous one, but it has that nice little kind of golden sheen. So pretty. All right, let's add some highlighter. I'm kind of torn between two. Let's start off with the lighter one. This is the Sigma highlighter in Twilight. And this, look at that fun glow. So I'm kind of thinking about what we have on our eyes. We'll start with this one and we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm using the MAC 140 fan brush, and these definitely do pack quite a punch. And I do feel like there is, I mean, they are like pretty metallic-y, but I love them. So if you're not into high shine highlighters, you won't like these. But I do feel like, again, they're pretty buildable. All right, that's fun. Let's go ahead and add a little bit on the inner corner of the eyes, and then we'll see if we need to kind of add a little of this other color I pulled out. Okay, and I'm going to use this kind of to pull onto the lid over those shadows. And this is just going to complete our eye look here. All right, now what this is inspiring me to do is to add a little bit of this in our kind of white line there. So I'm gonna go back to that Morphe M165 brush. And I am just going to tap this in the center of that line. Yeah, I think that just adds a little bit of some brightness and shine, but it doesn't alter the pigmentation too much. So that's just kind of fun. You could totally skip that step if you want. All right, it's time to add some mascara. I'm just gonna use my usual trio, my current favorite trio, and then I'll come back and we'll do lips. All right, let's finish things up with some lip color. I did go around the edge of my lips with the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. For lip liner, I'm using a new one from Kiko. This is the Everlasting Color Precision Lip Pencil. Now this is a really dark brown. It's much darker than I thought it was gonna be. The shade is 425, but I'm gonna use a very nude lip color, and so this is gonna help that nude lipstick not just fade into my face. So let's apply this. I mean, look how dark that is. But on the other end is a sharpener and a little smudger thing. So I'm gonna use that just to soften that a little. Wow, that dried like super fast. All right, let's apply some lipstick and then we'll go back and kind of tone down that lip liner so it's not so harsh. All right, the lipstick I'm using is another favorite. This is the Kiko Unlimited Stylo, and this is the shade 01. And this is a really, really pretty but light nude shade. It's so pretty. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, I mentioned this in the Darlings and Duds video, but when you first apply this, you think this is going to be a slippery balm because it glides on so smoothly, so easily, but you just wait for it and it like sets down. It almost dries down on the lips a little bit, and then this stays put for hours and hours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now that we have that on, I'm gonna go back with a little bit of that lip liner and just feather that line a little bit. Now you could definitely leave it like this, and I would if I were not about to film my Darlings and Duds video, and that's where I really like to, you know, highlight as many products as possible. So I'm gonna show you also this beauty counter. This is called Beyond Gloss. I now have this in 2 shades. I bought a third shade for my best friend. I really like this gloss. This is the shade Bare Shimmer, and this is really beautiful all on its own as well. Smells delicious. I'm just going to add a little touch. This adds a little more of a peachy tone, which I think ties in with our blush. All right, and then just as one final touch, I want to add a little more of this Metamorphosis color just right here on kind of the center part of the lid, so that as the light catches it, we get a little hint, a little more of a hint of those bluish tones. I think it's so fun. All right, now here is our finished look. And I just really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I just knew when I put on my nail color last night that I was in the mood to do something kind of funky and a little bit colorful. So I think this is kind of my comfort zone with colored liner. That's how I like to do things, but I hope that you enjoyed the little twist with that dual liner there. I think it's really fun. And it is a little extra work for us who have hooded eyes, but hopefully the tips I shared with you today will be helpful and you'll give this a try. Thank you as always so much for watching. All of the products, of course, will be listed and linked in the description box below, along with my recent Darlings and Duds video in case you missed that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.